Hello, I'm Keith Baker, the creator of the Eberron campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons and co-founder of Together Studios. Thank you for joining us for Magic Sword Shadow Marches, which is bringing the story of the Magic Sword into the world of Eberron. Tonight I'm going to be joined by a fantastic group of players, including starting with Satine Phoenix.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Can you tell us who you're playing?
Yes, I am a half-orc, as you can see by my makeup. I'm a half-orc named Time. I'm just a simple apothecary.
Of course. Nothing bad's going to happen today.
Nope.
Next we have Damion Poitier.
Hello.
Who are you playing, Damion?
I am playing Craik. He is a shifter who has come into the Shadow Marshes on a journey with his pack, and things have unfolded in manner.
Very
It's going to be a real slice of life tale. Not much is going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very peaceful, happy day. And then, of course, we have the three immortals who are joining us. The Seer of All Truths. The Weaver of Hearts and Souls. And the Keeper of the Magic Sword. So, let's see what adventure brings. Is everyone prepared?
Yes.
No.
All right.
Do it.
Well, Eberron is a world where magic has been woven into daily life. When most people think about the world of Eberron, they think about the 5 nations and the bitter war that tore that United Kingdom apart, scarring the land itself. But our story isn't about the 5 nations. Instead, we are traveling to the Shadow Marches, a land of swamps and woods on the west coast of the continent of Corvair, far from the grand cities and the towers of Sharn. This was originally the home of some of the native orcs of Eberron, but over the centuries, humans settled and built villages together with the orcs. And there are also shifter tribes that move through the marches. Our story begins with the village of Greyroot, a small community on the edge of the deep wood and the crawling swamps. Now there we have Time, a half-orc apprentice to the apothecary Lavender. And she is on the very edge of the wood looking for blackleaf ferns. Time, how do you feel today?
I feel good. You know, I'm kind of doing the same thing I do every day. And I'm just having a really nice time.
I see what you did there. Is Rufa the dog with you?
Always.
Tell us about Rufa.
Rufa is not my dog. Rufa's the village dog, and I like to spend a lot of time with Rufa. Rufa really listens to me, seems to pay a lot of attention to what I'm saying, and cares a lot about the way the herbs blend together.
Is Rufa a large dog or a small dog?
A perfectly medium-sized, scruffy dog. Mangy to some, lots of character to me.
So the two of you are out just searching through ferns and vines, as you do every day. But you notice something strange today. The wind, something feels it's still and thick, and you see something moving in the ferns. It doesn't seem quite right. And then suddenly, in a burst of motion, something leaps out at you. At first you think it's a crab, but it's just a sort of ball of chitin about the size of your fist, with many limbs coming off of it with sharp, knife-edged, serrated ends, and it's slashing at you, cutting at your face and piercing your shoulder. You're struggling with it. How do you fight this off? How do you destroy this creature?
Well, I make sure that Rufa is behind me, but I pick up a branch, and at first I swat at it like a broom, but then I take the other end and I try to skewer it.
So you do manage. It's digging into you with its claws, and penetrating your shoulder. Blood is coming out, but you do pull it off, and you crush it with the branch. And sort of green iridescent goo spills out of it. You think this might have been a crab maybe once, or a crawfish, but it's nothing you've ever seen before, and you just know that should not be here. The wound burns where it stung you. You feel a little dizzy. Rufa seems to be okay and whines and licks your hand. You're feeling a little dizzy, and then a figure comes crashing through the woods. At first, again, you're shocked. You're still a little dizzy from the injuries, but you realize it's a familiar face, the hunter Craik, who you've met before. Craik, describe yourself.
Craik is a rather large for a hunter. He's over 6 feet tall. He doesn't exactly look as shiftery as most shifters. He's not quite as hairy, and his face isn't quite as muzzly. And it's actually given him the nickname the Shorn, and he's mocked among shifters for his lack of hirsute nature. But he's studied to be a hunter, and he came with his pack to the Shadow Marshes to find. But wait, I'm getting into his backstory instead of his description. So visible upon him is he's carrying a walking stick. It's a short walking staff. He's got a bowstring across his back, as you can see in the image. He's got a hand axe, a short sword, and a dagger in his boot. And he's very,
ready
very
for
comfortable
trouble.
Walking through the woods. Yes, he is.
All right. Well, you see Time, injured. She's bleeding fairly badly. I'd say, Time, that you feel your arm going a little bit numb. You are a healer. You patch it up. You're not going to die of this, but it's definitely an unnatural wound. Craik, what do you do?
Time. The spirits bless me with our meeting. Because every time I see you, you're going to be standing over some hopless creature that you happen to eliminate.
Well, and I kind of cape at it towards Craik. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, it's definitely shouldn't be here. It is something that has been corrupted, and you sort of hear rustling around you in the woods, like there might be more. But it is a relatively minor threat on its own.
This is a bearer of ill tidings, and the reason for my return. I see that you are okay, so I must take my leave of you. There's trouble coming to Greyroot, and I must see to it.
Wait, what trouble?
These things are ever uncertain, and I'm not certain what it will come to, but I know that it will be trouble, and that it will be soon. I'm heading deeper in to see if anything reveals itself.
At this point,
you're okay,
you
yes?
actually, as you feel like you do hear cries on the edge of the wind, voices.
I mean, I'm coming with you.
All right.
I appreciate it, Time. But you are clearly injured and should not.
I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. See, it's practically healed. And I pick up one of these weird crab things, and I'm wielding it. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So, Time, you refuse to let Craik leave on his own, even as he goes. You are ready, even though you are literally fighting with the claw of a giant crab. Even though you can barely feel your arm, you are going to defend your people. As you take a step forward, something strange happens. A golden light sort of flows out all around you. You could hear, as I said, is on the wind, but those suddenly it falls silent, and you feel a strange sense of peace come over you. Suddenly, energy crackles around Craik, and 3 bolts of light burst out from him, striking the ground. Stone, wood, soil flows together swiftly, creating 3 humanoid shapes that sort of grow out of the ground, almost like Warforged, if you can imagine that, with sort of plates of stone and metal forming around these bodies made out of roots and wood. Within moments, there are 3 figures standing before you, Warforged-like vessels with beams of light across their faces. One of them steps forward and says to you,
"Even from the shores of oblivion, we have sensed your need. Only through the anchor are we able to manifest in the realm of Eberron. I am the keeper of the magic sword, and with my brothers, the Seer of All Things and the Weaver of Hearts and Minds, we have come to you bearing a gift and a curse, the power to defeat your enemies. A word of caution with this gift. Only the purest of heart and mind may wield the power of the magic sword. Any other will surely perish. So what say you, time of Eberron?"
I look at Craik and I look at everybody and I accept. I think.
all right.
So be it.
And with those words, the keeper raises his hands. A golden light flares around them, enveloping time. And first off, you feel strength surging through you. The wounds that you've taken across your face and down your shoulder, golden light flows up along them, leaving a glittering golden scar where the injury was. But there, between in your grip, forms a giant golden greatsword. As your hands tighten around the hilt, spectral armor flows around you, and it feels entirely natural to you, as if you've worn it all your life. You feel like the sword guides your hand, like you know what to do with it. And at this point, you have the full powers of your character. So, suddenly, the golden light fades away, leaving you back in the swamp. The sword is still in your hand, filling you with strength. But again, you hear the cries in the distance. What are you going to do?
Craik!
It seems my admonition for you to stay behind is a little premature. Come, let us see what this evil is, and see it put down.
Very well. Accompanied by the 3 immortals, you set forth through the swamp. Craik is a skilled hunter and can take you quickly through the wilds. But Craik, you notice something is wrong. The water level is unusually low and seems to be dropping, as if something is draining water from this region. As you venture, continue forward, you continue to hear cries. I do wonder, Time, and Rufa is following you, by the way, Time. Are you concerned about that?
Yes. Rufa, go home. Go.
Well, home is, of course, the direction you're going.
Oh, stay. Go. I don't know. I'm very confused. I don't know what to do. Just stay back.
All right. You encourage Rufa. They look very sad. They want to go with you, but they will stay away from the horrible danger that surely lies ahead. As you venture forward, both Craik and Time, you know people in Greyroot, and I'm curious who comes to your mind as you hear the cries of pain up ahead. Who is the first person you think of? Time, tell me someone who you're concerned about or that comes to your mind in Greyroot.
I think about Gortom, the woodcutter's son, and I hope that he's traveling or not there today.
What about you, Craik?
I remember Garund, the seer. He's a little touched. They consider him mad, spent too much time hunting aberrations, and seems to have brought some of them home with him.
Yeah,
He wanders
fair
the
enough.
village, and
I hope that he has not somehow accidentally caused trouble, but as you press forward, wondering what may have become of these people, you come upon a strange sight. You realize why the water is so low is that before you, there is a massive dome of foul liquid rising up, seeming to completely cover the region and encapsulate where Greyroot must be. It is swirling not simply water, but some massive slime, and you see steam or smoke rising from it. What do you do, anyone?
we have to ascertain whether or not this is...
I don't know what's happening exactly. I feel like I'm supposed to do something with this, but I've never done anything like this before.
Well, there are a few things. We have 3 guides here. Perhaps they can assist you.
Yes, do any of the immortals wish to engage with this foul wall in any way?
The only way to know is to venture forth and see what the sword can tell. Let us explore this bubble.
Do you want to try and touch it? And if so, what will you touch it with?
I have this rapier here. I say we give it a little bit of a poke and see what happens.
All right. The keeper steps forward, extends his rapier into the steaming wall of ooze. Immediately, it starts to be pitted and eats away at it. You can only imagine that if flesh were to touch it, it would be far worse. The keeper concentrates and is able to restore the blade, which is, after all, like him, created through this place. But it is clear that this is a highly caustic substance. And also, in sticking it in, it's at least, it's longer than the length of the rapier. So it is fairly thick. You do notice that when you pass the sword into it, you hear voices, whispers. You're not sure what they're saying. It's not a language you've ever heard, but when you get close to the wall, you can hear it whispering in strange alien tongues.
I sense the work of the aberrations. Well, time. You have been given a magic sword. Perhaps you can cleave us a way through.
Okay. So I walk forward and kind of like gauging, making sure my foots are stepping on the right things. This is my wood. I'm very familiar with it. So I raise my sword and
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure I'm close enough to snatch her if this goes bad.
Okay. Are you slashing at it, Time, or are you charging into it?
I am slashing at it because I've never wielded a sword before, so
All right.
I'm a little scared.
So you swing the magic sword, and it is amazing to you how light it is in your hand, and how naturally the motion comes. It cuts deep into the wall, and first of all, you don't see the other side. It is clear that this is at least 5 feet thick. When you strike it, it cries out in a language you don't understand. Sort of cursing and howling at you. You assume,
like it doesn't like it?
Does not seem to like it. And it also actually, a torrent of ooze sort of pours out at you. Craik, since you specifically said you were going to try and grab her back, I'll let you use your reaction to do that. What it means is there's a chance no one will take as much damage, but each of you might take a little damage. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so I want both Craik and Time to give me a dexterity saving throw. Tell me if you get a 13 or better.
No.
Wait, 10.
10? All right. You do pull her out. I mean, you basically manage to pull her out of the center of it. However, again, it spills over onto both of you, and you each take 6 points of acid damage. So it is... and in general, when you cut at it, Time, it was just as if it was water. You didn't feel that you were striking anything. It continues to sort of spit and speak at you. You have no idea what it's saying.
I will cast Comprehend Languages.
So the Seer steps forward. As, of course, you are Seer of All Knowledge, you do concentrate on this. It is, of course, you are new to this world. This is not a place you know, but it is simple enough for you to quickly master the strange language of this creature. And you can hear that it is cursing. It is saying, crying out in pain, "Leave me be, creature of light. Let me flow." Do you wish to speak with it?
I do.
What will you say?
I say, please let us pass. We only mean good.
Go ahead and make a... I don't know if you have... This would either be persuasion, or if you don't have persuasion, just make a charisma check.
3.
Not so good. What do you think went wrong there?
Oh, I just couldn't speak the language, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is hard to understand slime. So the Weaver speaks in its strange sibilant tongue, and it again steams and boils as if it is offended. But it says to you, I will allow you to pass, but you must give me one to consume.
Give him the dog!
That would do.
I hold on to the sword and I focus all of my energy into it, and I just say, nobody gets sacrificed. And I would like to sacred weapon my channel divinity. I imbue it with positive energy, and it casts a bright light.
And are you going to, as you do this, are you going to step forward into it, or are you just charging the weapon? So no one is being sacrificed. You charge the sword, and you just and again you have this sort of glowing spectral armor around you that glows with brilliant radiance, and you are going to essentially try and walk through it. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna stay right behind her, and if it seems like a tunnel's opening, I'm gonna be right on her 6.
Yep. So you do sort of walk into it, and initially it does burn you. You know, it's sort of spilling over through the shield of your armor. And you are going to take 6 more points of acid damage just as you press into it. But as you do, it pulls back, pulling away from the shining light that you've created. Craik, you're able to step through, and just by holding the sword above you and behind you, you sort of create a passage that the others can follow through. Seer, you do hear it screeching in pain and frustration, trying to sort of squeeze against the light, but as you are not surprised that the power of the magic sword can hold it at bay. So all 6 of you are able to pass through, or 5 of you. 6 of you, actually. Rufa does scamper through, because Rufa wants to go home. And as soon as you step out and withdraw the sword, the passage collapses behind you. So you are now trapped within. The sky above you is now a pale green, as this seems to be entirely encapsulating the area you're in. The smell is foul, but it's possible the immortals don't have a sense of smell, so you guys might be okay. All right. Venturing forward to Greyroot. Anyone have anything else before we move forward? All right. As you move forward, the seer hears something ahead, and it's not even so much that you hear it, it's simply that as the seer, you are aware of things no simple mortal would know, and you are aware of voices up ahead of you. It sounds like a man and a woman arguing. Do you want to press forward sort of at full speed? Do you want to alert everyone and approach cautiously? What would you like to do?
I alert everyone and we start sneaking up to the cover.
All right. So, the seer raises a hand, alerts you that voices are ahead. You move forward stealthily. These people are not actually that good at hearing, so I'm not going to bother having you make stealth checks. You're going to be able to creep up on them. As you creep closer, first Craik, then Time, you are able to hear. You hear an older woman's voice, and she says, "Oh, she should have been back by now. She's always so slow. Time's never as fast as she should be." It sounds like Lavender, the village apothecary, and you hear then an older man who says, "Oh, I should have ate something before we came out. I'm just so hungry." And you realize that that's Gort, Gordham's father, the old woodcutter. Tell me something about Gort that you remember. Does he like you, or does he not get along with you?
He does not get along with me, and he thinks I'm a bad influence. And
are you?
Also, well, we go hiking a lot, and sometimes we don't come back on time. And yeah, maybe I've taught him a little bit about some fun herb mixings.
All right.
Now when you're a kid,
So,
you can experiment.
Well, it sounds like they're out here looking for you. What do you all want to do?
I run forward.
Okay. Time runs forward with her sword and armor. Craik stays with her. What about the rest of you? Are you going to keep pace with them, or are you going to sort of stay back?
I will move forward.
All right.
Stay with Time.
The keeper stays close.
I also want to keep an eye out.
Yes. Staying close. So, Time, of course, takes off first. Craik and the keeper are close behind. The weaver and the seer are following after. Time, again, as you close in, you hear Lavender saying, "I'm sure we'll find her soon." You come around the corner expecting to see your old mentor, but you see something very strange and not what you expected. Instead of 2 figures, there's only one, strangely twisted together. Lavender is an old orc woman, while Gort is a tall human. Instead, ahead of you, you see a figure that is strangely both. It has 4 arms, it is twisted, it seems both half human and orc at the same time, with 2 large mouths down sort of the middle of its torso. You see aspects of it where you can see some of Gort and some of Lavender in the same way, and yet at the same time it also seems twisted and unnatural in neither of them. While this is not necessarily a combat situation, I would like to go ahead and have you all roll initiative just to determine who's acting in what order. So we will start, if you're ready, Weaver, what do you have? With the Weaver, what is your initiative roll?
16.
Very good. Keeper, what is your roll?
Who again? The keeper?
Yes.
Oh, 20.
Wow, okay. Seer.
12.
Time.
12.
And Craik. Are you there,
20.
Craik?
Wait,
20 what?
20, yes.
Okay. I'm going to start with Craik then. So, Craik, come around the corner and you see this figure, which again, to you, seems you can recognize the elements of the villagers that you've seen, and yet it has been twisted together to form some strange creature. And what do you do?
I'm going to raise my walking staff, glance at it,
All right.
and I'm going to call out to it.
Mm-hmm.
What has become of you? What brought this upon you?
All right. Keeper, do you wish to do anything else? What we see there is not a precise image of what we're looking at because it doesn't have weapons, and it appears sort of orc and human mingled together, and yet it's kind of like what we're looking at in that picture, with these 2 bodies fused together. Keeper, do you wish to take any action, or are you going to wait and see what it says?
I wish to move as close as I possibly can to Tom and Craik and prepare
right.
for defense.
All right. You are ready, and again, both Craik and Keeper, if you want to take action, just let me know. It speaks to you, and the upper mouth moves, and Lavender's voice comes out of it, and she says, "We were just looking for you. You weren't in town. I wanted to bring you back to the village." And Gort's voice comes from the lower mouth and says, "And I'm hungry." And you can also see that he doesn't have the usual amount of teeth. There's extra teeth in there that aren't right for Gort's voice. "I see you brought people with you, so I thought maybe I could eat one of them. Is that okay?"
I'm going to summon my axe blades.
Okay. So you raise your staff, and sort of purplish metal blades emerge from the ends, forming a battle axe. It takes a step towards you and extends one hand towards Time, saying, "It's all right, dear. Just take my hand. Come with me."
Unless one of you has magic enough to separate these creatures, we should probably have to destroy it.
Correct.
Time, what do you do?
first, as a free action, I would like to cry a lot.
Aww.
And tears are streaking down my face, and I look at Craik, and I hear his words, and I raise my sword. It's not them, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them. And I raise my sword, and I attack.
All right. As you attack, the lower mouth widens, and you do hear Gort saying, "Hungry," or at least what sounds like Gort's voice. So go ahead and make an attack roll.
That is a 14 to hit.
Okay. So you slash at it, and it raises one of its arms and actually catches the blade and sort of manages to deflect it. You're crying, I will point out, tears in your eyes, and it's faster than you expected. You sort of, thought, oh, it's just, these are your old friends horribly twisted. But instead it presses it aside with dramatic strength and launches itself at you with both mouths falling wide. Now, Keeper, you are right there. Do you want to use your reaction to try to block it?
I step in with my shield of expression and put it right in front of time.
What's the expression?
Face of pain.
Ooh,
It has a face,
of
pain and anger.
All right. So you interpose yourself, and you are an expert in the use of that shield. And so it slashes at her, trying actually to bite her with both mouths. But you basically cram that shield into the lower mouth, knocking teeth aside, and others gouge into the shield. It flails out. Craik, do you also want to try and be in the midst of this melee? So I'm going to say it lashes out. It's going to make one attack at the Keeper and one attack at Craik as it flails wildly with those extra arms. Craik, it does hit for 6 points of damage. And in fact, even the Keeper, it is faster and stronger than you thought. Unnaturally so given what it is. And that would be 5 points of damage. Now, I'm just going to start everything from the top here. So, Keeper, what would you like to do? You're sort of in the midst of a tight melee with this thing.
I would like to jump out of harm's way a few feet and then cast a telekinetic strike at the beast.
All right. The telekinetic strike actually is something that you channel through your blade. Unless you actually want to throw a weapon, or I forget if you have a bow as well.
Just the rapier. How about I duck under and then I slash underneath its chin with my rapier?
That works perfectly. You've got the shield sort of in its faces, so you can come under with the rapier. So make that attack, and with your telekinetic empowerment, you add a d6 to damage should you hit.
D6. So it's a 4 to add a d4 to the damage.
All right.
What do we need to hit?
You need a 14.
I have a 15.
Well, there you go. So roll your damage. Tell me what you get. Craik,
6.
You'll be going next. So, okay. And does that include the bonus d6 from your? I think you said it was a 4 before. So that would be 10 points?
No, that does not include that, so 10.
Yeah. All right. So you push it aside with your shield. You stab him with the rapier underneath, charging it with telekinetic energy to drive it deep. And that is almost enough. You drive it right through the lower mouth. And that mouth sort of sags, and two of the arms just sort of drop to leave. And the cry of Gort, the old woodcutter, you just hear him go and fall silent. The beast stands its ground, and Lavender says, "Oh, don't be like that. Let's just work this out." As she flails at you with her long-clawed hands. Craik, what are you going to do?
Step to the side, raise my axe with both hands, and swing at the beast.
All right. Make an attack.
I close my eyes.
I'm going to have to show you.
I believe it.
Yeah!
All right. All right. Honestly, with the amount of hit points it has, you don't even have to roll damage given that. So for those who did not see, he rolled a natural 20, which is a critical hit. It raises its hands, again, to try and claw at you, but raises up its hands, saying, "Oh, don't be a bother," and you just cleave straight through the hand, and then deeply into the mass that is its sort of head. And you hear Lavender's voice at last saying, "Oh dear, oh dear." And this thing slumps to the ground. A sort of iridescent green ooze flows out from the wounds, very similar to what you saw from that strange creature earlier time.
I run up to it. I get on my knees, and I'm holding her, trying to wrap my head around everything. And my first instinct is to try to heal her, and then I realize I'm actually more tired than I expected, and I heal myself. And I look around to see if there's anyone else, and I look over at the Weaver, the Keeper, and the Seer, and I'm like, what?
So it is, when you kneel down next to her, do you want to use your lay on hands to heal yourself?
Yes.
So it is basically you kneel down, think about healing, and while there is nothing to be done for her, it is suddenly the glowing golden energy flows around you, and you feel it flowing through you and strengthening you. How much do you want to heal?
I think I'm down 12.
That sounds about right. You did get hit pretty hard by that acid.
Yeah. So I will heal myself 10.
10.
Yes.
All right, so you feel that strength flowing through you. You do, even though as you kneel over her, you know that this power is not sufficient to help her, even if she wasn't already cleaved into a number of small pieces. But she does grab your hand with her strange, monstrous claw, but just sort of holds for a moment, and you do hear her just say, "I'm so sorry, my dear. Thank you." And slips free of your hand.
And then I run to Craik.
Right
in Craik's arms, and I'm just crying, trying to hold myself together.
Alright, I'll pull her in close and wrap my arm around her, but at the same time, I'm looking around to see if there's anything else happening.
Yep.
I have not yet dismissed my ex-please.
Rufa definitely is barking wildly and sniffing at the corpse of the strange creature. You do actually, so while you were healing time, Craik, you were staying alert, as is the Keeper. Weaver and Seer. The Seer, you do see movement sort of out of the bushes, coming from a slightly different direction. and it's another of these creatures. This one seems like it's an orc, perhaps, an orc male that's been merged with perhaps an old human man. You have the first glimpse of it, so Seer, you have the first choice of action. Weaver, you're going to go after him. Do you wish to take any action? Seer.
Well, yeah, I think I'd say I think I'll just attack
Okay,
and cast Firebolt on it.
sure
Try
thing.
to get it before it sees us.
When you cast Firebolt, is it just a bolt of flames from your hand? Do you trace symbols in the air? What does it look like?
It looks like almost more of a tentacle made out of water.
Well, there you have it.
Almost a blue
in
color
the image.
to it. Yeah.
So you sort of lash it with this this fiery tentacle.
Yeah. This blue flaming tentacle.
All right. What's your attack roll?
I rolled an 11.
Okay. That is a hit. Go ahead and roll some damage.
Looks like 13 damage.
There we are. All right. Wow, that is actually enough. So it comes sort of. It's just stepping through the brush, and you just strike it dead center, and it collapses with a howl. No more approach. Craik and Time, approaching it, you recognize this as being a combination of Gawk, a sort of bully who had given Craik some trouble before, but didn't last long enough to give you any trouble here. But you do see some aspect of Grund, the old seer, in it. It's not quite dead yet. Do you want to try and speak to him?
What has done this to you? What has brought this ill upon you?
He reaches out with his, again, it has 4 arms. One of them is his old withered arm. You familiar? He grabs your hand. He says,
I'm gonna raise my axe
so
just in
sorry.
case.
So sorry. No, he's again, a large chunk of his body has been burnt away by the seer's blow. There's no strength left in it. And he's only going to be with us for a moment or two more. And he says, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have gone below. I shouldn't meddled the vision. It drew me down. The dreams.
Where?
Shouldn't below. And then he dies. All right. At this point, you are quite close to the village. Greyroot is built into a giant tree stump. And when I say giant, I mean thousands of feet across. Some ancient tree that is long, long forgotten. That the people have carved the village into the edge of it. You can still, from this distance, hear cries of fear and pain. As I said, you're quite close. Do you have any plans specifically for how you would like to approach, or are you just going to charge boldly in?
We must be careful.
I'm gonna sling my walking staff. I'm gonna dismiss my blades, sling my walking staff, unleash my bow, knock an arrow, and start moving forward.
Wait!
Cautiously,
and
but ready.
I grab Craik.
Mhm.
I have a secret place.
Yes.
We can look. We can look and have a good vantage point in seeing what's going on here.
Then let us
All
be
right.
to it.
Anyone, any objections to that? Or is that all good with the rest of the team? All
Let's
right.
go.
So, Time does indeed know a good vantage point. As I say, the village is built into this massive tree stump, which is almost like, if you will, a small mountain carved out of wood. And venturing slightly around the village, you again hear, it's not even as you get closer, it's not simply cries of pain, it's sort of strange wails that don't even seem entirely human. You climb up, following this sort of secret path to what amounts to a peak made out of wood, a shard of the shattered old tree, which gives you a glimpse down. You can see among the huts and the houses that are carved into the trunk itself and the soil, that there's a couple more of these creatures, these fused entities, that are dragging people out of their huts, dragging them towards sort of the largest hut in the village. And there in the center, there is another creature, a larger humanoid, that has tentacles sprouting out of its shoulders, sort of writhing around it. And it seems to be directing them with these tentacles. As I say, you see about 3 of the fused entities, and then this large tentacled figure in between that is giving them direction as they are driving villagers into a central hut.
I look over at the immortals. What is this?
I know not. I am new to this world, but I say we confront it.
I would say if the Seer or the Weaver, I think you have a good history. I think both of you are proficient in history. If one of you would like to give me a history check, go ahead.
I'll history check.
Mm-hmm.
$14.
Good enough. All right. Again, you are new to this world, so you don't know everything. But you do know that this is not a thing that should be on this world. That you recognize the touch of an evil force that you know is the Corruptor, that is not of this world, that must have come here in some distant time, perhaps been trapped here. But you recognize this as a creature, perhaps once a hobgoblin or some other creature from the distant past, that has been twisted to serve as its champion. And you recognize that what it is doing now is taking these other villagers and transforming them into servants for its needs. You have a sense, just sort of even from this distance, looking at it, that it is a fairly powerful creature for one of its kind, and that it likely has some degree of sort of psychic ability. And, you know, is certainly a dangerous foe. And that those tentacles, if they grip you, will try and drain the life from you.
How far away?
How would you like to proceed? It's at this point you've got a pretty good vantage point and you're pretty far away, so 300 feet maybe. You could approach relatively quickly and stealthily. You have some good cover, but then the village area itself is reasonably large. There's a wide open space. So, do you have a plan of how you would like to approach?
Well, I could strike it from here with my longbow. We could draw it from the hut and away from the danger that it poses to those villagers. Then we can move it and then engage.
It's a good idea.
If there are no objections.
Any objections? All right. So the idea is that Craik will shoot it from a distance, try and draw its attention, and then separate it from the rest of the pack. Is that correct?
Or just draw it towards us and away from what it's trying to do.
villagers.
People there. Yes.
Certainly. All right.
All right.
Give me a shot.
Uh, 18.
All right. That does strike it. Frankly, you have surprise under these circumstances. So you should have had advantage, but since you hit, doesn't matter. So you strike it from a great distance, and the arrow lodges in its leathery shoulder, and it screeches, and you realize again that the sounds you're hearing, the strange bubbling cries, aren't actually coming from the people you can see in the square. It's as if it's coming from below the village somehow. But this creature, which I will say, Craik, you also recognize as a Dolgaunt, as you have trained with the gatekeepers, does look up. It starts moving quickly before you, loping over the soil, leaving behind the fused creatures in the square. And as it does, it screeches, and you feel sort of a vibration moving along the wood around you. It's moving rapidly, but it's not here yet. You still have at least a round to prepare or to take some sort of action. So let's go ahead and get initiative again.
Do you want damage from the initial shot?
Oh yeah, actually, duh. That would be a good idea.
I rolled a 7.
Okay.
And then that's...
As I say, sticking out of his shoulder. Okay. Time. Give me initiative.
15.
All right. Craik.
8.
You just took a shot, so it's not that you're slow; it's that you've just acted. Seer.
3.
Well, you're thinking things over. Keeper.
12.
All right, and Weaver.
6.
Well, no one said we had to be super fast. All right. Time. It is loping up path towards you, sort of leaping over. There isn't one quick, smooth path, but it's just leaping from sort of space as it approaches you. What do you do?
I turn to Craik, and I put my hand on his chest, and I cast Protection from Evil.
Good call.
Yes.
All right.
And then I prepare myself with the sword.
Okay, Craik, you know that this means the creature will have disadvantage on attack rolls against you, and that you can't be frightened by it.
Nice. I'm actually go ahead. Is it my turn next? No, Weaver's next.
No.
Right.
Keeper's next, actually, with a 12.
Keeper's next. Okay.
Keeper, what will you do?
Well, I guess really all I have, my only option at this point is my rapier. So I will strike with the rapier as quickly as I possibly can. But then I would also like to add a surge action and double my strike.
All right. So do you want to move up to it? So you're going to go sort of meet it.
Yes.
It hasn't quite reached you, but you've got to move. So you're going to sort of leap to it
as I leap forward,
and then try and strike it. So okay, let's go with the first attack. So the Keeper takes point, leaping out ahead of you, sort of clashing with the creature right in the middle.
And I have a 18.
All right, that is certainly, you drive your blade into it. And so that's a D8 plus a D6 plus 2.
D8 plus a D6. 8.
You get to roll all the dice.
Yeah. 8, 6, 13. I think I rolled an 8 and a 6 plus 2 is 16.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take it.
All right. So that is a powerful blow. And it actually, as the blade comes down, it catches the blade with its hand, but then you just cut down sort of through the skin and along its arm, and green ooze is leaking out of it. It is definitely a lot stronger than those creatures you were fighting before. It still seems relatively unimpaired by that. This close, you can see that it doesn't have eyes. Instead, it just has small, tiny tentacles just sort of writhing in the sockets, along with those lesser tendrils all around its head. Sort of, you feel it sort of locating your presence. And you also feel its mind pressing against yours. Now, you wanted to action surge and take a second strike, is that true?
Correct.
Go ahead and do it.
It's I can't roll a D8 and D6 on the second strike. It's different, right?
You don't get the D6. Yeah, the D6 you only get once.
Okay.
There's limits to your telekinetic power.
So 5.
That unfortunately will miss. So you draw back to take a second strike, but this time it has the measure of you, and it swats the blade aside with one of those tentacles. But the two of you are locked together. And now it is its turn, actually. So it is going to try and grapple you with its tentacles. So, you are the keeper. So the first one, you swat aside with your shield easily. You know, no foul creature is going to catch you so quickly. The problem is it has two, and one comes up underneath, wrapping around you. And so you are grappled. This means basically that your speed is reduced to 0, so you can't move away from it. Escaping a grapple requires either an athletics or acrobatics check on your turn. But for now, it has grappled you, and it does 6 points of damage. Finally, now that it is holding you there, it attempts to crush your mind. You can feel the evil of which this thing is only a vessel, sort of reaching out against your thoughts. Go ahead and give me a intelligence saving throw.
Let's see. 0.
Oh boy.
How do you?
Mind is, you're more of a body. You're more of a body guy.
How do you get a 0? How do you even get a 0? You have a minus. Oh, okay.
All right. So unfortunately, that is another 8 points of psychic damage. So basically, what we're saying is you got to get in there and help him, guys. Your keeper is in trouble. All right. Next up is Craik.
All right. I'm gonna drop my bow.
All right.
I'm gonna summon my axe blades.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna move in. 2 hands. Good strong strike. Hopefully towards the side of the body where the tentacle is. So, you know, wherever if I can reach where the tentacle is, I'm not going for the tentacle itself, but the side of the body the tentacle's on.
Sure. So,
see how we do here.
Bonus action to summon the blades. Move action to reach him. Go ahead and give me your attack.
That's going to go ahead and be 25.
No, that misses. So, as you close in, it is completely entwined with the Keeper. One of those tentacles wrapped tight around the Keeper as it assails him with its psychic howl. But that is enough that it can't really pay attention to you, and so you slip in and strike a strong blow with your axe. Tell me how much damage.
9 points.
All right.
That includes the D6 for
Okay.
the bicycle blade.
Yep. It bites into the side of the creature, but it sort of slides away from you in this way that it shouldn't be. Its body just sort of bends in the middle in a way that bodies aren't meant to bend. But you do land a blow, and as a sort of judge of these creatures, it is definitely wounded at this point. It's not about to drop dead, but you've landed some solid blows between the two of you. So I do need you to give me an intelligence save.
11.
All right. Its power washes over you, and you feel an unnatural fear gripping you, making you want to run away, to flee, just terror filling you. But then you feel just that golden glow that time surrounded you with, sort of filling you, strengthening you, and you realize that there's nothing to be frightened of. The power of the magic sword sustains you. Yeah. So you would have been frightened, but thanks to that protection from evil, you're just fine. So that brings us to the Weaver, and just so you're on deck, Seer, you'll be going next. So Weaver, Craik, and the Keeper are sort of all clustered around this creature as it is leaping up the cliffside at you. The Keeper is currently entangled by it, and Craik is in melee.
I would like to cast Ray of Frost to try and slow this beast down.
Absolutely.
To help out my friends.
All right, go ahead.
I rolled a 13 to hit.
Is that a 13 total or a 13 with your before your bonus?
Oh, one moment. Let me.
Because I know you have a +5 to hit, and so did you roll an 8 or a 13?
Oh, excuse me. I apologize. It's going to be a 9.
Oh, a 9? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, you are new on this world. And so the Ray of Frost strikes next to it, spreading a patch of ice across it, but it narrowly avoids the blow. Even though it has no eyes, it seems to be aware of the attack coming and moves out of the way.
And I apologize. I believe I added my numbers incorrectly, so I don't know if we can backtrack. But
oh, please tell me what you got.
I'm sorry if I was. I am new to this in many worlds.
Part of being new to this world.
I rolled.
That was an 18.
I rolled a 19. It was a 19.
Okay.
Slightly different reaction.
So let me tell you how this happens. You throw a
different.
tiny little bolt of ice that it cleverly dodges, that creates this pile of sand, and it's feeling very proud of itself when the other bolt of ice smacks it clear between the eyes. So go ahead and roll damage for that.
It was my distraction spell.
Exactly.
5 damage.
Okay, so it is not enough to drop it, but it screeches that again, it's not a sound, it's like you feel the screech in your thoughts. Yeah. Just sort of a memory of pain. going through you. And I will say, just so you know, Time, the Seer, the Weaver, those of you who are not currently engaged with this creature, you feel vibrations in the ground around you, like something strange is going on in the tree. Seer, what would you like to do?
I'll stay where I am and cast Toll the Dead.
Okay. So, Toll the Dead, you don't have to actually make a die roll. It is just a spell where the creature must make a saving throw. So you simply point your hand at it, knowing that it is almost time for it to die, and let us see if it makes its save. And it does not. So, Toll the Dead does greater damage if the creature is already close to death, as it is. So go ahead and roll 1d12 and tell me what you get.
$12.
Wow, there you go. It is indeed close to death.
Woo!
And so you pointed it, and for a moment, it's like your fates are linked, and you know that it is going to die very, very soon, and it knows it too. And it's not even so much that that does physical damage to it, as it is that it just drains the will to fight out of it. It just knows that this struggle is going to be futile. And that brings us all the way down around to Time. Time, what will you do?
I am so inspired by everybody, and I just run in and charge. I can feel the light in my veins, and I wield my sword, and I would like to slash at it.
All right, I will tell you something, which is that as you draw closer, you have a sense, just a sort of premonition. You can see that it's entwined the keeper in its tentacles, and it's close to death. But if you do not kill it here, it is going to be able to drain some of the keeper's life to strengthen itself. So I'm just saying, I hope you succeed on this attack.
No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure.
So go ahead.
I pray for some smiting of the divine sense. Okay, here I go.
All right.
A dirty 20.
Okay, good enough. And when you say that, I assume you mean not natural?
That's correct.
All right.
It's not natural.
Well, obviously getting a 20 is not going to hit. Let's be ridiculous. Okay. So you strike it. Now, I'll go ahead and say, are you going to make it a divine smite?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
So, I already rolled it.
All right, what'd you get?
All right, I got 10 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4.
10 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4. Can you do the math for us on this, Weaver?
No,
I'm just kidding.
16, 17, 18.
No, that's fine. 22, I think.
22.
Yes.
All right. Well, tell us what it looks like as you bring this creature down. How does the blade? What do you cleave through?
I'm like running up, and I'm like, I gotta just get okay, and I kind of hit it in the back of its head, and I slide it like a butter knife through butter, and it just kind of slides in through the back, and it just kind of peels off and unfolds whatever was inside of it.
So, Keeper, you are starting to feel the life draining out of you. You feel it's about to pull out what remains of your energy to strengthen itself, when suddenly the gleaming blade of the magic sword pierces the creature's skull, splitting open, revealing the slime-encrusted skeleton within. You feel a momentary just burst of pain spreading out between all of you as it dies. And then silence. Now, it releases you, falls to the ground in pieces, Time, you are standing over it, sort of still recovering from what just happened. So that energy flowed through you as a sort of new experience. Keeper, Craik, you are, catching your breath for a moment. Seer and Weaver, you are still back up atop the high perch where it was trying to reach, and suddenly something bursts out of the ground around you. It is more of those little razory claw creatures that that attacked Time back at the very edge of the swamp. There's about 8 of them, and they just burst out in a little razor-edged swarm, slashing at you. And so, let's see what happens. Okay. Weaver, they slash at you, but your body is well built, and these creatures just strike sparks against your plating, but are unable to pierce it. Seer, a few of them do manage to dig beneath the plating and catch the exposed roots, and that will be 8 points of damage. Ooh. Now, let's flip back to our people down below, because you, of course, basically hear a cry of alarm up above. Keeper, so you are standing over the body of the Dolgaunt. You are fairly wounded at this point, correct? How many hit points do you have?
I only have 9, but I would like to take this opportunity to enact my second wind.
Yes, I was going to suggest that if you had not. So excellent chance. So roll one of your hit dice. And
it's a D10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. I think you.
8.
All right. Regain that many hit points. Just checking very quickly. Does it say what kind of action that is? I hate to get bogged down, but I don't remember if that's a bonus action or if it takes your action.
Honestly, it's...
If anyone else knows...
It's not an action. I think it's a bonus action. It's a bonus action.
I think it's a bonus action. Okay, so do you want to... you feel your strength coming back. Do you want to do anything else?
Let's see.
You see your comrades surrounded by the swarm of claws.
Who seems to be in the most danger at this moment?
Probably the Seer. You and Craik are at least out of the range of this attack.
But he's... Sorry, go ahead.
You also get 3 additional hit points from Second Wind. It adds your fire.
Yay!
Alright.
I don't think... Seer, you're not close to death, are you, Seer? I think you have about 12 hit points left.
12,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're okay. They're just right in the middle of a swarm of claws.
Okay, well, if they're... Is it too early to cast a protective shield on him? How far is he? Is he within 30 feet?
He is... yeah, you're within 30 feet. Just about 30 feet.
Well, if they're
so you want to protect him?
I would like to protect him with my Psi shield.
Sure. Go ahead and roll the d6.
That's a 3.
Okay. So just to actually dial this back a little, because again, this is where we're all learning how our ability and all of that. That is actually what's called a reaction. And so it is something you use when he is attacked. So the point is, going back in time a few moments, the Seer was being slashed by those claws, and even though you were still sort of recovering yourself, you were able to reach out with your energy and shield him a bit. So Seer, you get 3 hit points back because he blocked some of the attack against you and absorbed its energy. This, again, is what's called a reaction. It's something you do on somebody else's turn. So, Craik.
Okay, so when this thing took place, there were actually some more of the Dolgrims taking other villagers
There are
towards
Dolgrims down below dragging villagers into a location, yes.
Is that still that's obviously still happening?
That is still happening, yes. They ignored the Dolgaunt came charging towards you, but these Dolgrims continued their work.
How close is the closest one, and how far is the farthest one?
I would say the closest one is about 90 feet, and the farthest one is about 120 feet.
All right. I would like to summon the energy that came into me when I became what I currently am, and fire an Eldritch Blast at the furthest one.
Okay.
Right at the end of my range.
Yep. What does that look like?
So, Craik takes a deep breath. He feels the energy within. His eyes start growing brightly, and the glow flows down to his arms. He brings them together in front of his chest, and he pushes them out, firing a blast of energy in the direction of the creature. I hope I roll good after all that.
Yes.
19.
Yeah, that'll hit. Give me some damage.
Okay. I better be a D10. 2. Edge of range.
Goes, ow, ow. And the other voice from it says, "Oh, you big baby, it hit me, not you." And they glare up at you together. Okay, that was time. That was Craik. Keeper, Weaver, you're surrounded by these little claw creatures. What are you doing? And Seer, you'll be going next.
Now that my buddy is protected, I am going to once again use my Ray of Frost on these tiny little creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be gone, so we can make our way down to the village, hopefully, if we all decide.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. So go ahead and roll the d20.
Yeah, I got an 11.
Okay.
That hit.
They are hard to miss. They're all around you. So yes, go ahead and roll.
Alright, I got, with my extra, I got 9.
All right. That damage. I am going to offer you a choice. So you basically lash out at them with this cold energy. I'm going to let you, if you want, you have 3 hit dice that you use to heal yourself. If you want, I'll let you spend one of those 3 hit dice to do extra damage here, to supercharge this ray of cold. It will just mean you will only have 2 hit dice to heal yourself later. Do you want to do that?
Let's do it.
All right. So, the Weaver, surrounded by these claws, throws out his hands. Ice starts to spread all over them. Then the light in his helm flares brighter, and even those of you down below just feel a chill come through the air, and the creatures fall away from him and shatter. And Seer, the claws around you have fallen. You can still see there are these 2 fused entities down below, the one that Craik just annoyed, and one that's further away. What would you like to do?
I'll cast Firebolt at the one that Craik has already hit.
Okay, it is close enough for you to do that. You lash out with your tendril, your blue fire.
I rolled a 20.
Well, okay. Did you roll a 20 or did
rolled
you?
It.
Yeah. Well, okay. In that case,
I rolled a 20.
You just drive that tendril right through, right between its eyes, and all four arms sort of go up to its head for a moment and go, ah, ah, and then it just falls over. Exactly. And so there's one left. Now, comes back to time. Time. The Dolgrim reaches over and it grabs the closest person to it, and you realize that person is Gordon. And so the creature is holding Gordon with its claws to his throat, threatening, and sort of backing a little slowly away. What do you do?
I run towards it as far as I can. Can I make it to the creature?
I'll let you do it. Well, here's the question. I'll flip this around. You are not going to make it. However, Weaver, I think it's the Weaver, you have the power to move the key. You realize what she's trying to do and that she's not going to get there in time. Are you going to help her reach her target? Weaver, did you hear me?
Yes, I did. I will.
You're thinking about it?
I can hear you fine. I'm having some extreme lag.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, I'm helping Satine.
Excellent. So, Time, you are running towards it. You know that you're not going to make it. You know, even as you're preparing, you just can see it's already starting to draw blood along Gordon's throat, when suddenly you just feel space twist around you and you've thrown forward right on top of it. Go ahead and strike.
Yes! Oh man, this is 19 on the die.
All right.
6.
Are you going to smite or not? I know you don't have many smites left.
Oh, I'm smiting.
Okay.
He's not gonna hurt my friend. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
So.
Oh, 15 plus 4.
There you go, 19. So you race down the edge of the slope towards the town, raising the sword, realizing you're not going to be close enough, even as you swing down, shifting forward in space, driving the blade right through the creature, which collapses, dropping Gordon, who staggers against you, throws his arms around you and just collapses. And that takes out the last of them. These 5 of you can regroup in the village. And I will say this seems like a good time for a pause here. So let us go to intermission as you have secured the village, but you don't know what's happened to all the people. And we will be back in a little bit.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Magic Sword Shadow Marches. Currently, we're in the midst of the story. If you are just joining us, the half-orc apothecary Time, while off in trying to just collect herbs, was attacked by strange alien creatures. The hunter Craik arrived, warning her that there were dangerous forces at work in the targeting her village of Greyroot, and determined to fight, she summoned the energy of the magic sword and the 3 immortals who guide it. The 5 of them set off, managed to make their way through a wall of ooze, discovered that a number of the villagers had combined into horrible twisted creatures, which unfortunately they had to finish off, and then defeated the seeming leader of those creatures, a creature called a Dolgant. At the same time, they know that the creatures were dragging people into a particular passage, and they still hear strange alien cries surrounding the village. So let us rejoin them now and see what they will do. All right. So everyone, even though we are not going to pause for that long, just as we all got to take a break, I am going, for purposes of your characters, call this a short rest. This has a couple of effects. First off, Keeper, it means that this resets your action surge and your second wind. So you have those back. And Time, you have your channel divinity again. Second, if people want to heal, as I know a number of you are injured, this is a time that you can spend 1 or more of your hit dice to regain hit points. Does anyone want to heal? Craik, go ahead.
Yes.
Your hit die is a D12. I believe.
Yes, sir.
Roll that, Matt. No.
10.
Okay. Is that enough, or do you want to roll the second one? I don't remember how damaged you were.
No, I'm only 2 down from max, so I'm good.
Okay. Anyone else? Keeper, are you feeling sufficiently healthy now, or do you want to heal some more?
I feel like I should definitely roll.
Okay. Your hit die is a D10.
I got an 8.
That, I think, puts you close to full, correct?
Close to max. Two below max. Oh no, sorry.
All right.
That's max.
Yes, there you are. All right. So you were
I'm
standing in the
definitely
midst of the
rolling.
village. Oh yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Is it a D8?
For
my hit
you,
die?
it's a D10. Yeah.
Ooh
you're
la
a
la.
D10.
Alright. 8. I only needed 3 or so, 2.
Excellent. All right. So you are catching your breath as creatures seem to have fallen. However, first of all, the people are panicking. You know, many people were still trying to take shelter in their huts. Time, you can already see that many people are already gone or missing. What are you going to do to try and calm them?
Ooh. I'm not good at saying things, but I do try to gather everybody, and I try to put them in a hut.
All right.
And I try to
what about
them
Gordon?
safe.
Gordon says to you, Have you seen my father? They took my father. I don't know where he is.
I do. He didn't make it. I'm so sorry.
What?
They took Lavender as well. Yes.
All right. Go ahead and give me a charisma check.
Ooh. Well, that was a 7 on the die.
Number 7 on the die. All right. People are basically, you're just having a hard time convincing them. It's just a lot of noise. People are asking you what's going on. They're saying, "What are these?" They're afraid that the immortals might also be the enemy. It's just there's a bit of chaos.
I actually pose them.
Hmm?
I pose them
Oh.
in a line, and then I pose Craik kind of next to me. And then I turn to everybody and I raise my sword, and I say, "Fear not, for I have come into new power, and we will defeat this evil. Evil unlike anything we've ever seen before."
All right. I'm going to actually let you make an intimidation check, because I know you have proficiency with that. And as you're not really trying to scare them, but this is essentially a show of force. You were saying, I'm strong, I'm going to protect you. So go ahead and try that. If this doesn't work, you're really going to have lost all sense of authority here.
What is it, 12
so
on the
go
die?
ahead and try it. 12 on the die,
12
and I
on
think
the
you
die,
have a plus. I think that's.
4.
Yeah, I think you have a plus 4 or 5. Yeah, so 16.
4.
All right. So immortals, especially the Weaver, you at a sense, you're initially worried that you might have to help her, but you feel she's doing things. Now, Seer, you have an ability that you can guide the person holding the magic sword. If this is in combat, you have to do it as a reaction. Outside of combat, just means you can do it when she makes a skill check. You can guide her. Do you want to do that?
Yes.
So go ahead and roll a d4 and tell me what you get.
1.
Oh, he rolls.
Okay, good.
4.
All right.
Yes.
Making your 16 a 20. So basically, you are trying to inspire them, and you're doing a pretty good job, but this isn't your normal thing. You're not sure you believe yourself, but suddenly you just feel a presence guiding you, helping you find the right words, feeling like you've done this before. And it does.
I reach into my bag, so I'm like, oh, this is what they need. They need a little chamomile and a little bit of lavender. Maybe mix a little sage. So I'm like rummaging. And so I have my my sword up, but I'm rummaging with one hand, and I kind of do this whoosh into the air. And petals and leaves and things just kind of go spraying, and it has the essence of calm.
Kind of look at her like, what is she doing? And then look to see if it works.
Then it actually seems to work. She is a healer, and the smell of lavender, of course, reminds you of lavender. So that's
then
sad.
I shall stand strong beside her.
But it is familiar. The thing about it is you make this show of strength, and then you give them something that feels familiar and does calm them. So the point is, it does. It does. They are all astonished. They don't really know who is this champion who stands before them, but they all feel that you are going to somehow protect them, and they do take shelter in the house that you lead them to. So the villagers have now been secured, but you are still hearing this wailing, bubbling cry coming from deep below the village through the sort of hole that they were leading the others down. And again, there's still many villagers who have not been accounted for here. Tell me, in fact, one person who has not been accounted for, Time. Someone you don't see here that you know.
Oh, the baker.
Oh, the baker. What's their name?
Their name is Hearth.
Hearth. Oh. Hearth, old or young?
Young.
So young baker, and makes the best sticky buns, which I don't know if you've had sticky grub buns, but they are a Shadow March delicacy. They're best if they're still twitching, and you don't see Hearth here, and so that worries you.
Yes.
Do you as a group have any particular plans or preparations you would like to make, or are you going to head down the mysterious tunnel?
I believe if we have any...
Head out.
All right.
I do take Rufa and I say, sit right here at the door and you protect them.
All right. Okay. So, tell me a little about sort of as you venture. This is a fairly wide tunnel, but not so wide that all 5 of you could stand side by side. Who takes the lead?
I will.
Okay. So
Or the
Craik
Weaver.
takes the lead. time is falling behind. Craik, you are a good hunter, so you can also go ahead and give me a stealth check, sort of while you're taking point. Keeper, are you going to stay close to time?
Always.
And then Weaver and Seer, you can bring up towards the rear. So go ahead and give me that stealth roll, Craik.
18.
All right.
And I'm gonna have a arrow knocked with my bow.
Yep. You creep forward, beginning your descent down the tunnel. And along the way, you hear the strange echoing cry along the walls. And as you go down, you find yourself remembering something that frightened you in the past. What is that? Just it reminds you of something.
I recall the first time that I encountered an aberration. I was hunting, and I approached a deer that I thought was a normal deer, until the third eye and the pointed teeth emerged. Now, this frightened me because I was not ready for such a thing, and as I drew back my bow, it actually came at me and attacked me. I barely survived that. But the meat was not quite as bad as one might think for an aberration.
All right. So, at first, basically just strangely, as you're going down and this eerie cry is echoing off the walls, you just find that vision stuck in your mind. You feel that you see it move in the shadows ahead of you and loose your arrow, but it just strikes against stone. You draw another arrow, but you don't know why you saw it there, but you feel, again, you're not claustrophobic. But even as you're pressing forward, it's almost as if the tunnel is closing in on you, and you have to shake yourself and realize that it's not. Behind him, time, you feel the same thing. You find all of the fears and doubts that you've ever had about yourself creeping back into your mind. What if, wondering whether you've left the people behind to their doom. And this comes to the Weaver. Weaver, as you follow them down, you too can feel that this isn't just a natural effect. This is something down below trying to creep into the thoughts of the mortals and shake them and shake their resolve. Even now, it is actually sort of trying to creep into your thoughts as well. This vessel you've created doesn't carry your full power and is trying to affect you and your brothers. Drawing on your power as the Weaver, you can try and fashion a shield, if you will, a vision of hope or strength. What is that vision? And we might be dealing with lag again, but keep going. All right, so the Weaver raises his hands, and again, everyone feels sort of momentary, sort of gentle light flows, and the same way that you felt something, that darkness was drawing out your fears, this is actually drawing out your hopes, a memory that supports you. Craik, what is the memory that gives you strength?
It was the first time I took a weapon in my hand and was actually able to defeat my trainer. We trained long and hard with a variety of weapons, and it seems that the axe was the one I took to best. I tried with sword, I tried with staff, I tried with spear, but the axe called to me. And as he brought his sword down upon my head, I deflected it, flipped with the back, poked him in the belly, hooked his leg with the back of the and pulled him off his feet. He hit the ground hard, looked up at me, brow furrowed. I thought he was going to say something cutting or demeaning, but he smiled and said, "You are coming along."
What about you, Time?
I was hiking in the woods with my little brother Linus, and we fell down a mudslide, and I caught myself. He did not catch himself, so I had to try to reach down and grab him, and I used some branches, and I had to take my jacket off and use that on the end of that, and ended up pulling him up. It took a long time, and we lost our backpacks, but we worked on it together, and then we found our way home.
All right. Here's the thing. The Weaver creates this vision, puts strength into it, and it is good, but one of you will not be protected by it. Someone can go ahead and raise a hand. Who is not protected? All right. Well, time beat everyone to it. So Time, why does that vision? There's two choices. One is that the vision just isn't strong enough for you. The other is that you realize, even as it is giving you strength, that there's not enough power to sustain everybody, and that you are sort of letting that strength go to others. Which is it?
It's I let it go to others.
Okay. So, immortals, you do feel, again, the Weaver's strength. You are, of course, very familiar. And I'd be curious what strange visions offer you hope. But Time, again, giving that power away means that you sort of know within yourself that the others will be all right, but you still feel a little doubt and fear. Venturing on down, the walls and every surface of this tunnel, which seems like it must have formed, perhaps there was some sort of tectonic activity or something, like these tunnels were down here. Something must have broken it open, and that's what led Garen the Seer down here. But now every surface is coated in this green iridescent fluid that you remember seeing in the crabs in the Dolgrim. Up ahead, you still hear this strange low wailing. But Time, you also hear the voice of Hurt the Baker calling out for help, along with dozens of others. Help us! Help! Craik, you are staying in the lead? Is that correct? So yes. As you were in the lead, you are going to be the first to see. You reach level ground, reach a corner, which you can peer around, so stopping the others as you peer. There is a wider chamber that is filled with greenish fluid. It doesn't steam. It doesn't seem like it's as acidic as the wall that you encountered before, but it is pulsing and undulating, as if there's a sort of mass in the center of it. You don't think it's deep. You think it's a sort of gooey mass along the surface of the chamber. What do you do?
There's some sort of gelatinous coating upon the floor. I'm not certain what it is. I've never seen anything like it. It does not seem to have the same viscosity as the one surrounding the town, but I would imagine there's some danger here.
I cast...
I'm going to do
a look into... Oh, you go ahead. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, by all means.
I close my eyes and I cast Divine Sense.
You reach out with your divine sense. And you do definitely feel sort of holding the sword. The sword is guiding you towards the evil that it came here to fight. And you feel not that. You feel essentially that there is something worse to come. And yet you do also feel quite close, just around this corner, there is a foul presence, something unnatural that does not belong. There is definitely a creature of some sort in that chamber.
Don't trust it,
just one.
Craik. There's only one creature in that chamber, but it is a nasty one.
I'm going to peek around and see if I can get a view of it without stepping into the goo.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, you're very, very sly. You know how to. So you just dart around. You can see again. It's almost like maybe there's more of a mass in the center of the room, but you don't see anything other than this bubbling ooze.
Whatever it is yet to reveal itself.
Seer Keeper, anything you want to do?
You kind of broke up there the last little bit.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was just saying, is there anything you would like to do?
I just didn't hear the last little bit because it kind of broke up, so I'm not exactly sure. I lost it when Craik started speaking. Sorry.
Oh, fair enough. So there is something in the chamber. It is covered with some sort of ooze along the floor with a greater gelatinous mass in the center. If you want, I think both the Keeper and the Seer, though I could be wrong, have proficiency with Arcana. If you wanted to give me an Arcana check, you might be able to take Craik's description and learn something about it. And what I would say is I think the Seer has the higher bonus, but both of you roll and just tell me the number on the die.
Is it a D20?
I rolled a 13.
Yeah, roll a D20. Okay, so we have a 13 and
4.
Let's see what the second roll is. 4? Okay, so we're going to take the 13 and add that to the 18 of the Seer. So Seer, this is, again, you haven't sort of seen it, but taking Craik's description and knowing what you know, you unfortunately feel that it is probably unlikely you are going to be able to save other villagers because you think that they have been disintegrated into this mass. That this is the force of the corruptor sort of eating the people of the village to strengthen itself as it tries to break through the seal below here. So you do think that that room is a creature. And that in crossing through, it's the center of the room is the worst of it, like if you were to fight it. But that it is a thing.
How does this creature feel about fire?
It does not like fire.
I'm going to light a torch. Give a nice little lob towards the main gelatinous bit.
Okay, go ahead and
see what happens.
Have you make it.
Let's see what it does.
Roll a D8.
D8. 5.
All right. It smells terrible. And you hear the sizzling, the undulating cry goes up. It's quickly extinguished. So there's a smell of some burnt, foul substance. And the whole thing, the wailing grows louder. You feel that it's sort of shifted up. You're not looking right at it. And you hear all the cries of the people. So different villagers crying out, ouch, oh, that hurt, oh, it burns, in dozens of different voices. Let's go ahead and get initiative here. So I'm going to go around the same way. So time, tell me what you get.
4.
Wow, okay. Craik.
7.
You said you had to be fast. Seer.
10.
Okay.
My
Keeper.
double digits.
Yeah.
4. Another 4.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And Weaver.
At least if we all roll low, then we're all clumped up together, and then it feels like we all roll high.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we'll go. I'll go with that.
I'll tell you for what it's worth, it's very slow. So okay. Let us start. So wow, that is surprising. That is. But the seer does actually go first. So seer, you can tell that it is sort of boiling up in there. You could either go in, or it might try and come out after you in this tighter chamber. Which do you want to do?
Real quick, can I cast Mage Armor?
I'm going to assume you did cast Mage Armor. Like, you could have cast it. Mage Armor lasts for hours. So let's assume you did that before you came down here. Because, yes, there's no reason for you not to have Mage Armor.
Perfect. I did. I totally meant to do that. I think I'm just going to go and attack. Go around the corner and just attack. Just go for it.
Okay. So you step around the corner.
Sorry, what?
So when you step around the corner, you see this hideous mass that has risen up. And it is all this sort of vile green color, but you can see eyes and faces and mouths as the people sort of rise out of it and then are pulled back in. And you hear sort of all these voices clamoring, calling for help. So what do you want to do?
Are they actually bodies, or is it just voices?
No, they are consumed by this horrible creature, and unfortunately you don't think there's a way you can bring them peace. Is about all you can do, I'm afraid.
Okay, then I will cast Witch Bolt.
First or second level?
Second level.
Okay. I think Witch Bolt is a to-hit roll, so go ahead and give me a roll. It is kind of like shooting at a barn door, so you shouldn't have trouble.
11.
That will do. Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll your damage. It is
An 8.
And how many dice did you roll for that?
Just 1. Oh, I rolled 2.
I think you get more. Yes, I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
No.
All right, that's an 11 total.
Okay. So you channel this burst of energy, and the way Witch Bolt works is, as long as you choose not to do anything else, you can keep burning it with this spell. So you have lashed into it with a tendril blue fire, and it is boiling around it. But it is a massive creature. A few of the faces sort of melt away, and you almost hear them sigh as they do, as if they are finally at least at peace. All right. Next, we do have the Weaver, who we may have to communicate with mentally, but we will see. I will go ahead and say that the next person who will be going is Craik. So Craik, consider what you are going to do. Sorry, we are getting a mental vision here. It will come to us soon. Okay. So the Weaver steps in and is using a pulsating, gleaming green bolt to strike the creature. So we are again communicating through the ether, because no mere technology can carry. Okay. So basically, the Seer steps around the corner, lashes it with a ray of blue fire, and it sort of shakes and cries out and bubbles. And then the Weaver comes around, uses green energy, and just tears an enormous chunk of it apart. Like, I'm not saying that he's trying to be braggy about it, but he seems like he's trying to be braggy about it. Hang on. Okay, so that is 20 points of damage, just so you all know. Yeah. And as I said, that tears a pretty huge chunk out of the creature. And yet, there's still a lot of it there. And now it's pretty unhappy. The two of you did have to sort of step into where you could see it. And it flings a glob of itself at you. And you see the crying face of the baker as it flies towards you. And then that explodes in between the Weaver and the Seer. I need both of you, Seer and Weaver, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw. And tell me what you get.
I have a 13.
Okay. And
7.
7? Oh wow, did we just hear the Weaver? Or is that the Keeper who spoke?
Oh no, that's this. Oh, am I not supposed to? This is the Seer.
This doesn't strike you. It's just the Seer and the Weaver. And so both
right,
of you.
Right, I am the Seer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and you got a 7?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. All right, then I'm afraid you are blinded.
Damn.
No.
And
Did it really blind the Seer?
It really blinded the Seer, which is embarrassing. But you know, it's when the creature strikes you, when this blob strikes you, your mind is filled with visions of the baker's life, and it's actually not even unpleasant. Really, it's kind of actually some of the good memories. You only take 2 points of psychic damage, but it's extremely distracting, and for a moment you can't focus on the world around you. And that is the point at when it decides it's going to try and bite you, because you were blinded. And that is going to work. So basically, to recap this entire situation, the Seer comes around the side, strikes it with his witch bolt. The Weaver backs him up, lashing it with a ray of sickness. The beast throws the baker's essence at them, blinding the seer, and then just a torrent of goo with mouths and faces and claws swarms across the seer, inflicting 18 points of damage. Are you okay, Seer, or does that take you to 0?
I'm dead. Well, I'm
Well,
at
you're not
0.
dead.
I'm not dead.
You're at 0. 0 isn't dead. And pulls him to the ground. Unfortunately, that does mean that the witch bolt crackles out. So the beast is seriously wounded, but it has pulled the seer down, and this does not look good.
Is it too late to make a reaction to that?
Oh.
Is it too late?
Technically, but this is... I didn't give you the chance. You know, we're all still learning our abilities. And it is exactly the case that when I said the attack was made, that is when you would say, oh, I'm doing the thing. Except, is what you want to do your telekinetic shield? Because telekinetic shield you could definitely do here. Yeah, that'll work. That'll absolutely work here, because that is a reaction to him taking damage. So you can take up to, roll a d6. You're saved, Seer, but only just
4.
barely. Okay. So it swarms over you, biting and drooling, and it feels like it is about to consume you, but the Keeper is able to draw some of that energy away. So you have 4 hit points left. It does pull you to the ground, and it is about to swarm all over you. So the situation is not good, but it could have been worse. And that brings us around to Craik.
Mm-hmm. I would like to show it how Bishop tastes.
All right, good call. Using your battle axe?
Overhead swing. Yes.
All right.
And I do not want to. I do not want to hit the seer though. Well clear of him.
Yeah, you should be fine with that. Okay.
Cool.
And do you cry anything out, or do you just charge in there and just slash at it?
I will free these souls from your... What's the word I'm looking for? Ah, it was so good too. Wait. No. Ah, it's gone. I had to head, and I can't remember it. But I did roll a 19.
Okay, good enough. Roll that damage.
Yes, sir. Okay, so 6 and 6 is 12 points of damage.
Okay. All right. You gouge into
bondage.
Deeply,
I will free these souls from your bondage.
you are able to cut the seer sort of free from it, so it is not sort of swarming over him. There's still a lot of goo in here, is all I'm saying. But as you cut it with the Bieshk in particular, basically you can see it dissolving. That sort of, you see a face come up with it, and the face kind of relaxes a little, and then it just, the bright green goo just dissolves sort of into water. Like you are literally freeing the souls from this bondage. Okay, and that brings us to time to the Keeper. Are you going to venture into the chamber?
Yes, I will. Cautiously.
So you step forward. You'll have to move past the seer, but at least you are now interposing yourself between the seer and this foul thing.
And so I'm basically just standing in front of it so I can choose. Well, basically, my only attack that I have is a rapier. It doesn't seem like it's going to do much good to this thing.
It is true that actually, the magical attacks seem more stronger. On the other end, your telekinetic charge will at least do something. But if you can think of something else you'd like to try and do, you see the torch off to the side that Craik originally threw. And if you want to think about it for a moment, I can have time go.
Yeah, why don't you give me a second?
Yeah, so time, what do you want to do?
I would like to... the whole thing is kind of slimy and it's lashy and it's mouthy. So I'm going to, slide up next to Craik and just use my magic sword like a baseball bat and just...
Splat. All right.
Yeah.
It's not hard to hit, but go ahead and try.
I mean, it is this giant mound of stuff. That is 16 to hit.
That will certainly hit. I think you're running low on spell slots for smite. Do you want to smite or not?
No. I am not going to smite.
Go ahead and roll the damage.
But with a 2d6 plus 4, that is still a 15.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, however, the Keeper's fears were well justified. So the sword doesn't seem, even the magic sword does not seem as effective as the magical attacks of the Seer and the Weaver. So you do damage it, but not as much as you would like. In fact, I would say you feel the pool overall is about size where it began. But we now come back to the Seer, and here is the thing. As you are all standing there, it is starting to whisper. You are hearing not only all the voices of the people trapped within, but a deeper, stranger voice, an alien voice that seems to be in your thoughts itself. So, Seer, go ahead and make for me a wisdom saving throw.
$14.
Okay, you are not affected by it. You were on the ground, and in fact, because you were not rendered unconscious, because the Keeper protected you, your Witch Bolt is still burning. So you could do something else, or you could use your action to continue to channel energy through the Witch Bolt. What would you like to do?
I will continue using the Witch Bolt.
Okay. So tell me, as you are doing it, what is the image in your mind? Because you can feel that this thing is a sort of piece of the corruptor trying to consume you and feed on fears. What is the image that you are using to sort of strike against that through the Witch Bolt?
I foresee giving the magic sword to the one true hero and finally defeating evil for good. And it picks me up.
All right. Roll the d12 for damage.
I got a 9.
All right. And it's actually 11. Actually, I think it's 12. All right. So you channel that thought through the bolt into the creature, and you feel its pain and agony as it's faced with that vision, and it boils away, and a number of additional faces relax as their spirits are released. All right. Next, the Weaver, communicating with me through time and space, reveals that he also can see the vision of the sword defeating darkness, and he adds his energies to that to strengthen the seer. And so uses the magical power to restore 9 hit points to you. So you feel your strength returning. However, the creature is now taking action, and it, even though the seer and the weaver have done the most damage, but the keeper stands in its way, and Craik and Time likewise are all amidst it. So it will attack randomly, unless I'll ask you this, Keeper. Do you want to draw its attack? Because you have that power if you choose. Or do you want to let random chance make that decision?
I would like to draw its attack.
All right. So you can sense its presence seeking out, sort of likely drawn towards Time, who is, after all, the beacon of light here. And yet, the Keeper just enforces your will and demands that it strike at you, and it does. So it swarms, surging over you. You are able to deflect some of it. It is basically, you're holding it at bay with your shield, and pieces of it are just lashing around, striking at you on the other side, even though you are holding the mass of it back. And that will be only 6 points of damage.
All right.
However, I forgot, I also need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
I rolled a 19.
So again, as with the seer, it tried to overwhelm your thoughts, but could not. What is the vision that drives the keeper forward? What is it that you see that means that you have no fear or doubt?
I hold close to my heart the vision of finding the one true key to seal the prison forever that holds the Dark One.
And you know, frankly, that this is not even a fraction of that power that you have faced before and will face again. And this tiny fear that it tries to infect you with, it is nothing. So even though it does claw at you with its tendrils, you are able to hold it at bay. That brings us then to Craik. So Craik, first of all, before anything else, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
It's going to be 15.
Okay, you also are fine. You have trained extensively with the gatekeepers. You are familiar with this type of mental insinuation, and you were able to shake it off. What is it you would like to do?
Feeling the creature attack at my mind, it reminds me of the first time I faced an aberration, the one that destroyed my pack. I'm afraid I am unable to contain the feelings that bubble within me at seeing such a beast and feeling such a touch upon my mind. And all that is within me rages.
So, Craik is his eyes almost seem to glow slightly green himself. His body almost seems to surge inside, as if there is a power within him that cannot be contained. And you feel a darkness that he is managing to hold at bay and channel into his body, but there is still a power that reaches even beyond him, drawing the essence out of the creature before you, but also out of each of you. Everyone takes 5 points of necrotic damage. Craik, you get 25 temporary hit points. You did drain from the creature as well. You feel this vast power surging through you. What are you going to do as your action?
I'm going to, again, with my axe, show it the truth of. How do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce the metal? Okay.
Yeah, biesh.
I'm going to show this operation the truth. Biesh.
All right. Don't miss. Are you going to be reckless?
No. Why not? You know, let's just get this thing done.
Sure. Reckless it up. It would be very embarrassing to miss at this point.
Yeah, I did not, thankfully. 17.
Okay. You strike it with your blade. Go ahead and roll damage, but I'll give you a choice. You absorbed all that energy from your friends and from the creature. You have 25 temporary hit points. I will let you, with this stroke and only this time, channel any amount of that energy into your attack as damage.
All right. Choose first or roll first?
Choose first.
All right. I'm going to give it 20. You know, let's go ahead and give 20 damage to that, in addition to... so that's going to be 32 points of damage.
Dang. All right. Craik again. So he strides forward. He howls. You all feel a piece of yourself flow into him. And at first, that's a painful, shocking moment. But then you feel him using that same strength and unleashing it against the creature, striking it with all of your own strength. It splatters it, just bursts away from the point of the blow. There is still a small mass of it left, but it is just, a fragment of what was originally there. Time. The voices are still whispering, and this is the thing. You alone were not fully shielded by the Weaver's power because you chose to protect the others. So you have to make a wisdom saving throw, but you have disadvantage on that saving throw. What is it?
Dude, sorry. I rolled a 15 and a 16.
Well, okay. What is the image that gives you strength?
Craik. What Craik just did gives me so much strength. I feel the light kind of shared between all of us.
I can't argue with that. So you feel the voices urging you to doubt yourself, urging you to strike these other people. They are not your friends. Look at what Craik just did. He's going to try and kill you all, and yet you do not believe that for a moment. It cannot lead you astray. What would you like to do?
I hit it with my magic sword.
All right.
That is a 19 on the die. So that is a 25 to hit.
All right.
All right. That is 12 points of damage.
Do you want to Divine Smite, or are you going to...
I understand that I have one big one left, and this is not the
So you're going to save
battle.
it? All right. Keeper, I'm going to offer you a choice. If you want, I think you have one hit die left. I will let you spend that hit die to channel your power through the magic sword and increase her damage. Do you want to do it?
I do. Of course.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 2d8 and tell me what you get.
A 4 and a 7.
All right. So You drive the magic sword into it, Time, and it hurts it, and yet, again, mere metal, even the magic sword, is not necessarily enough. But then the keeper raises his hand, the light flares in his helm, and you feel that immortal essence pour through the blade, and the creature explodes. I would like everybody to make a let's call it a dexterity saving throw for me.
Yeah, it's a 4.
6.
Ouch.
12.
Okay.
Could be an 8, but if it's an acrobatics.
All right. Well, I'll just tell you what happens. So, wow. Okay. Hey, Seer, what did you get? Oh, and Seer, actually, one thing. You can use your reaction to help the key when she makes a saving throw. Do you want to do that? I'm not sure. I may just not be hearing him. Yep.
I don't think he's hearing you.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that is technology. I will say to all of those who got under a 12, you were taking 15 points of acid damage.
Yeah.
To those of you who made the saving throw, it is 7 points.
All right. Woo.
All right, hang on just one second as we deal with the mysterious technical difficulties. Okay. So the seer is the basic question is I needed to know if the seer survived or not, and he does. So, okay, everything is now quiet. The room is splattered with with green glowing with I say green glowing goo, but it's just green goo now. The light has gone out of it. You actually feel a slight moment of peace in your souls that the things that were crying out in pain before are at least all now silent and at rest. You are hurt a bunch, and yet you do hear a low chanting ahead of you. Does anyone have anything they want to do?
Yes. I would like to touch Craik's face and basically lay on hands for 5 points of healing.
All right, Craik,
And
there
it's
you
my
go.
last
Thank
of my
you.
pool.
Luke.
I will say... yep.
So since we had a short rest,
Pretty
I could
close.
use my second wind again, right?
That's correct. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
I'm not bad off.
Time-
The temporary and the everything.
All right. Time, I'm going to go ahead and let you spend hit die if you want. So
Thank
that's a
you.
D10.
6. Every penny counts.
And I will do the same for the seer. So assuming that they can hear me, go ahead and you can roll. I think your hit die is a D6, though I could be wrong. Go ahead and roll that and get that many hit points back.
And the keeper rolled a 9 for that second wind.
Okay, good. So as I said, you can hear a low hissing chanting close ahead, and you feel the ground rumbling a little.
Did my rage abate or am I still raging?
Technically, we haven't actually really stopped. If you want to charge, this sounds like it's coming from pretty close.
Sounds like it needs to be, intervened with. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you charge? Anyone not charge, or are you all good just racing down towards the sound? Okay, so racing away.
Keep up.
And so you keep up. Craik, you come around into a chamber, and you see carved into the floor of this chamber an ancient symbol that, Craik, you recognize. It's a complex intertwining of lines, almost a sort of labyrinth, that, Craik, you definitely recognize as a binding of the gatekeepers. Placed here as one of the many seals that helps hold the Dalkir down below. And this one has cracked down the middle, and there is something flowing up through it. It is surrounded by 3 dolgons, which are the things that are chanting. You step into the room. It is about 60 feet across the circle, and with the dolgons standing around the edges. What do you do?
Can I Eldritch Bludgeon?
Yeah, sure.
Let's give me L1 too, then.
And now I think about it, you might not be able to because of raging, but I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, go ahead and do it. Your Eldritch Blast is a manifestation of your rage anyway.
Yes, I like it. I like it. Where are we? Where is it? Numbers. Okay. 11.
All right. 11 will not hit. It, even though it is blind, it senses the energy coming, and instinctively dodges the stroke. As the rest of you step into the room, something unexpected happens. I said that there was a sort of crack down the seal, and that it was filled with something. That something seems to be just sort of a black, glistening darkness, shadow given purpose. And you don't even see so much eyes as you feel glimpses of thoughts that have been trapped and consumed. It rises up out of the crack, spreading out, consuming the dolgons standing around it, and just swirls into a massive floating force, far greater. That would be it there. Far greater than anything you have seen. It is colossal. It is about 50 feet across, and you feel it's just hatred and the sort of psychic power pouring off of it from the way it just absorbed those creatures. You are pretty sure that mere arrows and axes are not going to have much of an effect on this. Keeper, is there something you would like to do?
Call it a day.
There is one power you might have.
Is it a big power?
It's a big power.
Hold on just 1 second. I would like to use the action, if my brothers agree, to create the Titan.
All right, Seer and Weaver, will you nod on that? You agree? Okay. So, time, Craik, as you are standing staring at this, feeling that this is not a thing, that even with a magic sword you could fight, something happens. The 3 immortals stand around you, and they suddenly seem to become less substantial and just expand out. they suddenly, Craik, you find yourself lifted into the air, and they form around you, forming an armored colossus around your body. Time, you feel your essence flowing into the sword itself, which grows to titanic size. And as the Titan grasps hold of it, you feel all this power flowing into you as you have grown to approximately 40 or 50 feet in height yourself. Now, all the power of everyone is flowing into you. The Weaver, the Keeper, and the Seer already have some idea of this, but Craik, since this is new to you, you are all now... Time, you must guide this Titan of the Magic Sword. Everyone else has the ability to enhance your actions by using a reaction. So Craik, you have the option. If she makes an attack, you can enhance her attack, increasing her chance to hit and damage. If she is attacked, you can use your reaction to bolster her defense. Or if she makes a saving throw, someone can increase her chance to succeed. Since we're having some trouble with our sound, I'm going to go ahead and say immortals in particular, but same with you, Craik. Basically, when she takes an action, if you want to use your reaction to help her, whether it's an attack or whether I am about to attack you and you want to help with defense, just raise your hand so I know that you're jumping in on this. Any number of you can jump in on a particular thing. So Time, you are holding the magic sword, feeling its full power flowing through you. You recognize this as a piece of the corruptor trying to take root here. If it is not stopped, it will break and widen the gap within the seal until it can flow through in greater power. Looking at it, you see your own fears, that it is trying to find the right one to strike you with. What will you do?
I'm gonna attack it. I'm going to take my greatsword and I'm gonna swing so hard. I'm gonna swing around and then whack.
All right. Does anyone want to bolster her attack? Okay, the Weaver and the Seer. So, both of you, are you going to do it, Craik, or are you going to hold on?
I'll hold off. She got two already. I'll hold on.
Yeah, two seems quite like a good bet. Okay, so Weaver and Seer, I need you to both roll a d20 and a d12. Time, make your attack roll and tell me what you roll. The base die roll.
Base die roll, 18.
Okay, that is good enough. Now, basically, just so you know what's going to happen, if you had rolled poorly, we would have used the best roll of the three people who jumped in, sort of a bonus advantage. However, in this case, 18 will do. Roll 2d12 plus 4 for your damage. And Seer and Weaver, once she's done that, I want to know what you rolled on your d12s. Because that is... okay, I've got the... I've got one. Yeah, I've got them. Okay. So what did you roll with your damage?
A 12 and a 4.
Okay. So you have inflicted a total, because it's 2d12 plus 4, of 20 damage, but another 20 damage flows through from the power of the Seer and the Weaver, strengthening you. So that is 40 points. I will go ahead and say what we are doing now is on kind of a macro scale. So that's even more than 40 actual points. But you tear into this creature, you would say, taking it down to about a third of its hit points.
Yeah. And it's like a chainsaw of light. It's like...
Yes. What is the image that strengthens you as you strike this blow? What is it that you see that gives you hope?
I see the people in the village standing up and defending themselves, and I see the immortals and Craik all working together, and it's the teamwork that inspires me.
All right. Well, that blow digs deep. As I said, a full third of its hit points taken away, but you already see it starting to reform, and you can see that you have to keep pushing or it will reform against you. It Immediately it starts with a psychic blast that washes over you. Again, just feelings of doubt. Who are you to try and face it? You are just some simple apothecary. Craik, you were going to try and help her with this? Is that your hand?
Yes.
So, okay. So what I need for that is time. Go ahead and make an intelligence saving throw. Craik, you roll a d20 as well. And we're going to take the best of the two rolls.
On the die, I rolled 2.
Okay, Craik, what did you get?
19.
Sorry, say that
you
again.
lose me?
Yeah, say it one more time. Do you say 19?
19.
Woo.
All right.
Oh, thank goodness.
We're having a little trouble, but I'm pretty darn sure I heard a 19, which is good.
Did say 19, sir.
Yes. So, time. You feel it washing over you. It's going to try to crush you with fear. I should mention, because I didn't before, that you have at the moment 140 hit points. So make a note of that somewhere. However, you have just taken, let's see, 19. All right, you have taken 9 hit points. It would have been much worse if Craik had not helped you. He was able, through his guidance and belief, he was able to shield you from much of its force and kept it from causing you to be afraid. And it's then tries to lash at you with one of its tentacles. I believe the keeper, you were the only one who has not taken a reaction yet, so you try and help her with defense.
Yes. Yes.
So go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll the d20.
18.
Okay. Sadly, I should have mentioned, on this, you were essentially rolling for its disadvantage, so you wanted to roll low, but that's okay because I rolled low.
Yay!
And it takes the worst of the rolls. So it tries to lash at you with a tentacle, but it is not able to do so. You know, the keeper
matrix
guides your hand and knocks it away with the sword. All right. It's back to you. What will you do?
I am going to hit it again, but this time I take the sword up above my head. And I just use all of my force. I use my thighs, and I really get down in that.
All right, drive it down. Who will help her with the attack? All right, all the immortals are behind this. Everyone go ahead and roll. Tell me what you get, Time.
I got a 15 on the die.
All right, so everyone rolls a d20 and a d12. But I will ask one thing. Seer, I believe that you have seen a future where somebody rolls a natural 20. For those of you listening at home, this is an ability because the Seer is a diviner. So, is this the moment when Time actually rolls a 20? All right. So again, just as you are starting to drive the sword in, you know, for a moment you have doubts. Oh, where do you strike this thing? You don't even know, but you know that this is what you are supposed to do. So this will also double your damage. So 2d4 or 4d12 for you. And for all of the immortals who are rolling, roll 2d12 and tell me the result for the damage that is being done here.
I got an 11 and an 8, which is 19, and 2 more 11s.
Okay. So that is 41 from you. Okay. And I'm getting results in here. Keeper, what did you roll?
9 and 7.
Okay, so that's 16, so we're up to 57 points. And checking the results, 67 and 18 is 85. It has 90 hit points. Craik, I'm going to ask you, do you want to add your power to this strike? If you want to attack, Craik, go ahead and roll 2d12.
All right, let's do it. Bam, and sorry, my connection actually dropped out for a second, so I came back and you were...
Yeah, we're having a little trouble, but that's okay.
Okay, that's going to be a 12 and an 8, which brings us to 20.
20. All right, so that brings us to 105 points in a single stroke. With all of you, as you dive the blade down, you just feel again the immortals. You've seen this 1,000 times. You know that the evil will not win. Mortals, again, time, you're thinking of the village up above and the people who you can still protect. Craik, you're thinking of your tribe that suffered at the hands of this darkness, and making sure that no one will. And it just explodes in a burst of light, melting away. And as you drive the sword into the ground, golden light fills that crack in the seal. You feel momentary peace. The Titan dissolved back into its component forms. Craik and Time, you are exhausted. You are almost completely drained of energy. Working through the Titan took almost all that you had. And yet, you know that you have at least sealed this thing. You do know you have this glimpse as you're driving in of the darker power that lurks below. Dern the Corruptor. And you know that it has not been defeated forever. That it still lingers below, still yearning to rise, but you know that it will not rise today. And that you have, through the power of the magic sword, saved it. You are, again, exhausted, almost completely drained, but you have done what you needed to do. The immortals are already fading, as is the sword itself. Keeper, do you have a last thought you would like to share with them?
You have done well, my child. Call again when this realm needs help, and we shall forever heed that call.
The immortals fade away. Even though you are weary to the bone, you still feel a sense of strength and hope, believing, knowing that whatever darkness may be out there, there is a light you can call upon, and that at least the people who have survived will be safe now. So congratulations, you have saved Greyroot, and this is the end of the Shadow Marches in Magic Sword. Thank you to everyone who joined us for this adventure. This is, just a glimpse of the many adventures the Magic Sword can have across the multiverse. And thanks for taking this peek into Eberron with us. I would like to very much thank everyone who joined us for this. I would love to thank Satine Phoenix. As Time, Damion Poitier, as Craik, and the immortals themselves for taking the time to reach us through the void. And thank you. That brings us to the conclusion of Magic Sword Shadow Marches. I'm Keith Baker. You can find all my stuff at togetherstudios.com. So thank you.